What up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, man?
Bro, crazy weekend.
Yeah, mixed emotions over here.
Oh, man. Yeah. Shout out to the Bay. That's all you gotta say, man.
They treated us right.
Yeah, it's major love on the West Coast, man.
No, that was awesome. It was such a awesome trip. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I've never been out to California before.
Oh, man. Yeah, you told me that.
And just driving along the highways, and it's just so different from here.
Yeah.
We're so used to seeing like woods and
Absolutely.
hills, and over there it's like it's deserty, but it's like beautiful though. There's mountains off in the distance,
and
just
like
a completely different scene.
And something that you were talking about too, like is very it has like a certain like look to it. It's different than, like in Pittsburgh where you're going to see the bridges, you're going to see the hills, but in San Fran it's like, oh no, this is a distinct look with the way the houses are, the color of the houses, how we were joking about how some of these houses will look like they're cheap. And I'm like, nah, dude, that's $1 million house right there. Or that's probably a $2 million house right there. Like,
no, yeah. Well, what was crazy? I don't know if you picked up on this whenever we were chilling with the homies.
Yeah.
And they were driving.
Well, actually, shout out to the homies too, man. Chase, Cameron,
they were
Kyle,
awesome.
Obviously John for Steely Gang, bro. It was, it was crazy.
We got down there. Well, that just goes to show you, like, Steeler Nation, Steeler family right there.
Oh, without a doubt, bro.
We touched down. I don't even remember what time.
We got
2
time.
or 3, 4.
No. It was 11. 11 that time. 2:00 East time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait. What? Okay. Never mind about the time. Anyway, they picked us up pretty soon after.
Yeah.
And showed us around, and we went out and had dinner, had some drinks.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. What was the restaurant? It was called
Giordano's.
Giordano's. It's like the Permane brothers of like the Bay Area, and it was a ton of Pittsburgh tradition in there. See Terrible Towels, jerseys.
They had a Kennywood sign.
Yeah,
the Thunderbolt.
And I mean, they even had like the rules, and everyone was like, "Don't be a jagoff." Like, how Pittsburgh is that, bro?
Yeah.
So it was crazy, man. Even saw some of my SNR Still Nation Radio family in there too, man. So it was definitely a hot spot, man.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But whenever they were driving us, and I pointed to one of the houses and said, "Oh, what's that? Like $1 million house?" They said, "Yeah, at least that." And then one of them said, like, they're not actually allowed to change how the outside looks. Like, it's under law.
Yeah.
That was confusing to me.
Yeah, man. I it's new to me too, man. But obviously, I think because those are more of like, even though they're single family homes, they are built like townhomes. Like that's just the structure of how it is.
Yep.
But I think it's because of just the amount of people living there too, man. But you go inside of some of these houses, they got elevators, pools, like all type of just craziness, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that was the thing that was like, yo, it looks like almost like crap on the outside, bro. But the inside, you're like, oh man.
But from a distance, they look awesome because they're all colored and they're together, and like it's almost like a wave with the hills. Very, very cool.
Yeah, it was just wild, though, bro.
Yeah, just leave it at that.
It was just wild. Shout out to the Bay, man. And then we actually got to go check out the Steeler Nation Unite event too.
Dude, you're like the mayor.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
I get a behind the scenes look. So we've been out to eat before a couple times, and it's never really like that where a ton of people are coming up. But we did the first tailgate here, and everyone's coming up to you, hey, can I get your autograph picture? And you're the man. You
stop it, man.
You do it with dignity, respect. You just know how to work the room. And then so I'm thinking, that's just Pittsburgh. No, we get out there, everyone knows you, and it's probably even more magnified.
Yeah, it was
nuts.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And it was funny because remember on the car ride over, half of me was like, yo, we got to hit up this Steeler Nation Unite event because, that's where all the fans going to be us showing love on the West Coast. And then the other side was like, yeah, we're not going to get nothing accomplished if we go to this event because, like, I already know, like, I'm not going to have any, like, chance to eat, no chance to just chill. Like, it's going to be back to back.
You already thought?
Yeah, just from personal experiences, man.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we get there, and sure enough, we when we go through the wrong side, it's like the San Francisco 49ers, they're having like a party out there.
Yeah.
So we're going through there getting booed. And we're like, dang, man, like maybe we got the wrong address or something. Then we hit the other side, and as soon as we get in, it was just crazy. Shout out to Steeler Nation, though, man. Like, they showed up full force, man. Showed major love, and shout out to the to the people that listen to the podcast too. They were out there. I mean, even at the SNU party, They're like, yo, man, that's Deke. Yo, Deke, man, I know you, man. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? 15-1, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, man. So, like, I love the fact that they actually be tuning in, but we actually got to see them in person, you know? And just that night, man, you think about just the amount of people and the diversity that was in that building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had white people, black people, Mexican people, Filipino people, anything you could think of, man, were in the building, all because they're Steelers fans. And like, that's the beauty of Steelers Nation. That's the thing that I definitely, like, without a doubt, enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy.
Yeah, no, it was not. Well, you bringing up the diversity, that's we talked about that a little bit, like kind of on the plane, just like us being able to do this is awesome. Like,
absolutely, bro.
How many people actually get to travel like this? And then it goes back to what we were saying with Chase and all them taking care of us. Like, I have no clue who any of these people are. It's such a diverse group of people.
Absolutely.
But there's that common bond of the Steelers, and everyone's just treating each other like family. It's nuts.
Yo,
like I guess I didn't.
We didn't know who they were until we got there, bro.
Well, bro, and that's what's crazy for me, because I mean, I'm a native Pittsburgher, and all you really just have this bubble here of it. And you know, you go on vacation here and there, like out to Florida or some of these other places, and you see someone in a Steeler jersey, whatever.
Right.
They yell out, "Yo, go Steelers!"
Go Steelers!
But that's, you know, that's it. It's just like passing by. But then, like, to experience it like this, where they're like taking you in as like one of your own, and
essentially, man, they were our like West Coast tour guys, bro. Like, ate together, partied together, drove around the city together, hit the tailgate together. Like, it was a cool vibe, man. And like I said, shout out to Steel Nation for that, man. Y'all show major love. That's why y'all are the best nation, period, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll definitely see it in the video.
Oh,
for
man.
The Arthur Moats show. Like, just it was a nuts vibe.
And as crazy as that video is, this was after a loss. It still could have been crazier.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. We're just like, we're just waiting. Like, come on, baby, come on. Because, I mean, it sucks that the team lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's their third one in a row. And it's like just so much hype still around it. Like, from the video we're about to drop later today, you couldn't tell that this was a team that was 0-2 at the time. Their franchise quarterback gone for the year, starting safety gone. Like, you wouldn't know that by like just the amount of people that came out there and the excitement about just the Steelers in general. And that was just the whole time. I mean, literally from the time we fly into San Fran. I mean, think when we get off the plane and we're waiting on the shuttle to take us to our hotel, we run into a Steeler fan there. We're showing major love, talking about the podcast, talking about just the team in general. Then, like you said, from then on, man, it's just Steeler fan after Steeler fan. And then the highlight, when we get to that tailgate. Holy cow. Bro.
So we kind of had two different perspectives.
We did.
It was funny because you just watched the video and you were like, dude, I didn't even know you were out and about like shooting these shots. So I was like wandering. I was doing a lot of wandering.
So for me, remember, like once we started the tailgate, I had no chance to like walk around. I was kind of like in that little tent area, and it was just like a line. Like people just kept coming, which was dope. And that's the purpose of it, you know, so that way we can interact with them. They get a chance to meet a player and just have that conversation and stuff. But yeah, I never even, it was times where I'm like, yo, where's Deke at? I don't know where my man's at. And then he just like randomly popped back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I also had like my fam out there too, man. Shout out to my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law. They came through, pulled up on us, Saturday night and Sunday for the tailgate. So that was awesome, man. But yeah, a lot of times I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, yo, I'm going to take these pictures. We dapping up, sign autographs, stay hydrated. That's all I kept thinking, drink water, stay hydrated. It was a hot one.
It was. The reason I was wandering, though, it was just more for me to take it all in because I don't know when we're ever gonna be back.
Right.
Technically, like we want to keep doing
it every
stuff
year,
like this, but like you just never know. So
True.
I'm just more or less taking in the stadium, the parking lot. They had flags up, the scenery. Like
it was wild.
I was looking around, and then like just getting other shots of Steeler fans, and just thinking of ways to put it into the to the total video. But that's kind of what I was doing. I figured, I'm not like Moats out here. People aren't up there
that, man. Even though people did want to take pictures with you, Deke can no longer say he's small time. Deke can no longer say he's not important. Deke can no longer say he's not known. Ladies and gentlemen, I witnessed firsthand multiple people between Saturday and Sunday come up to Deke and like, yo, you're the homie from the podcast. I see you in the videos. You're Deke, 15-1. Hey, yo, can I get a picture? I'm like, Deke is out here taking pictures. Deke got fans, ladies and gentlemen. Deke has fans. He tried to be so low key. I'm like, nah, Deke, you not low key if they ask for pictures, bro. It's over. Those days are done. You're a vibe. You are a whole mood, man.
All
like,
right.
yeah, that's Deke, bro.
All right. I'll take it.
Chill, man. So that was crazy. But even with that, shout out to my first road game experience. That was my first one on the road. Never done it before, man.
I think same. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I think same. I've been to a decent amount Steeler home games, maybe 1, 2, or 3 a year, but yeah, I think that was my first away one. It was awesome.
My first one, and actually I got my first having to wait in line to go to the bathroom in the tailgate experience. I had never known. Man, it was probably like 40 people and like 6 porta potties.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is crazy. I got to go like now.
It's not pretty when you get in there.
I ain't like that. I'm used to, being pampered. I'm in the locker room. Like I got whatever stall I want to go to, whatever bathroom I want to go to. Like yeah, that having to wait. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, what are y'all doing? Yeah. Y'all gotta hurry up. Man. Oh, and I gotta give another shout out to the homie, man, pulled up to us at the tailgate. So I had talked about on my previous podcast, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I don't like to drink beer. Like, people buy me beer all the time. Mm-hmm. Remember at the game, the cat got me the IPA, and I'm just like, yo, I don't even like IPAs. Even though my homie Damo, he loves the IPAs. That's his thing. I'm like, bro, this is trash. I can't drink this, man. Like, I need just straight liquor, period. So my man's pulls up at the podcast. I mean, at the tailgate, he's like, yo, Moats, big fan, man. Always tune in. And I remember you saying that you don't like beer. So I got something for you, B. I was like, oh, word, what you got? My man pulled up a big handle of Henny. I said, oh, shout out, you the real MVP, man.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a major
dude,
move, bro.
That was the same dude he asked me for the picture. So he was.
Yeah, that was a major
awesome.
move, bro.
Yeah. So I was gonna say this too about the drinks. Dude, I think they were out of water. Like,
yeah,
it was like an hour into it.
Yeah,
man.
it became an all liquor event. No water, no juice. It was funny because we were joking about, yo, we're not drinking today. We were like, man, we hit it hard last night. Stayed out, had a good time, but we need to just hydrate, get back to who we are.
I was like, bro, I need water. What do we got? Gatorade, anything. And then John's asking people, everyone's asking, hey, we got water? Nah, we don't got any water, man.
Listen, I drank the hotel bottle. This is how thirsty I was. I drank the 2 $5 bottle of hotel waters, crushed them. We get to the tailgate. I'm still like, yo, thirsty, my mouth dry. I get my man Chase, he starts finding these little kid-sized water bottles. Like you would give a elementary school kid.
He's stealing it from
and
other
he's
tailgates.
Like taking it from other tailgates. Like, yo, I got you some water. I'm like, bro, major love. Cause I'm hurting right now. I appreciate this.
Yeah.
I'm killing these days in one gulp. Like, man.
Supply and demand. I think we were the only two that were asking for that.
Everybody else wanted the real stuff. Let me get that. What's that bottle right there? I'm like, I don't want none of that. No, keep it. Man. But bro, it was crazy.
It was awesome. Big shout out to San Fran Steeler Nation out there. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and the 559 crew, man. Yeah, so they definitely pulled up in a big way out there on the west side, man. Showed a ton of love. But man, it was just, even with that crowd though for the tailgate, you think about, we saw people that we've met in Pittsburgh before, like at the weeks prior. Yeah, and then also people came from Canada, some people from Germany. I mean, dude, it was just all type of people at the tailgate, bro. And they were just kind of saying, because I was like, why? Like, what about this San Fran game made y'all want to come to it? And they were just like, well, us being on the west side, this is closer for us sometimes. Or just the fact that they traveled to wherever the Steelers are playing at. They were like, yo, we go to 4 away games, and this is one of them. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
It goes back to exactly what we were talking about at the beginning. It's just, John was saying this a little bit beforehand. It's just going to be a little different out there with these away games. Because,
Did you believe him?
I did. Yes, I did. Right. I did because, well, I saw some of the videos that they did in the past, some West Coast games, and they look nuts. Right. But the thing is, we get it all the time here. We get Steelers. True. We just get all the experience here. And sometimes we take it for granted. Over there,
a lot of times it is taken for granted, man.
Just San Francisco. Yeah. This is one game in 8 years they're getting out there for the most part, you know?
So for them, they're like, nah, bro, we're going to be there. We showing up full effect, and we're going to shut the city down. Yeah. And, I mean, we just got to experience it and just embrace that vibe. But that is the beauty of it, especially like when it's a non-divisional opponent. Like, that's what the real thing that I'm starting to take away from this thing. So home games, like you said, people, they're just so accustomed to it. It's not as intense, even though it's still fun. It's still a good turnout. You still get people that come from all over for the home games because it's a great experience in itself, being at Hinesville, being in Pittsburgh. But these one-off teams where you're playing San Fran first time in how many years? When we go out to AZ later in the season, first time in how many years that we're out there? So for these Steelers fans, they got to wait forever for this opportunity. They're like, bro, we're not passing this up. We're going to shut it down. We're going to make this thing like the most memorable weekend ever. And that's the thing. I'm just like, yo, we're in the fortunate situation where we're going to be able to experience that with them and document it, bro. And like that's the thing that's beautiful about the podcast, is beautiful about the Art the Most show, is like we're able to document this stuff and catch these moments and like put it out there on a bigger platform for the world to see. So when people talk about what it's really like to be a part of Steel Nation, we're highlighting these things, and that's the thing that's awesome, bro.
No, it's awesome. Much gratitude.
Absolutely, bro. But you know we got to talk about the game,
yeah, because after the tailgate, we walked into the game. Yeah. We witnessed something in there.
Man. Deke, if I would have told you that the Steelers would have 5 turnovers, 4 in the first half, and the Steelers would only turn the ball over themselves 2 times, would you think the Steelers would have won? Yeah. You would probably put money on it, right? It would have been a safe bet, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, all those things transpired, and they lost. Oh man, they killed us. That was a rough one, bro. It played with our emotions. The 4 turnovers in the first half. First off, we gotta highlight the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. Like
the bright spot.
That was a major bright spot, man. He flew around, forced fumble, interceptions. Like the dude, he looked good.
He looked really good.
Absolutely, you could see like why he was the 11th overall pick. He definitely was a big bright spot defensively for them. So definitely shout out to him, man.
Other than that, it's tough because we talked about this a little bit on the plane ride back. If you look at those turnovers, outside of the pick,
well, I was actually
I
checked it out again this morning, right? 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
3 of those turnovers were not forced. That was just San Fran just being like fumbling in their own way. Yep. And all 3 of those were in the red zone. We're within like the 15-yard line. 2 of the fumbles by Jimmy Garoppolo. One, he fumbled the snap under center. The other one, they were trying to run a jet sweep type motion.
That was the last
ball.
one.
Yeah, the ball hits the receiver as he's coming across. Those 2 had nothing to do with anybody. And then I looked at the interception with TJ.
The first pick. That's the first one we missed, yeah.
Yeah, but it literally hits Matthew Breida in the hands, and he's bobbling it, and he just pops it up in the air.
Yeah.
And TJ catches it. I'm like, bro, that's 3 turnovers that literally they did nothing for.
Right.
But when you just look at the stats, it gives you that false narrative that, oh, man, they had 5 turnovers, man. They were killing. I'm like, bro, the 2 turnovers they forced were Minkah directly. He caught the pick off the great tip by Joe Hayden. Shout out to him. And then, like I said, Minkah forced the fumble. But even on that fumble that he forced, it was still a 7-8 yard gain.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that was kind of scary to me. I'm like, man.
Because I think in the game, like being in the game, we didn't really like realize it. We're just like happy. Oh, man.
We got the ball. Right.
And then you kind of look back on that, like, and actually see it on like the screen, like looking back on the game, the highlights, like, holy crap, it was that bad. Like, you're just seeing ball loose. You're not really seeing exactly how it was happening. We wouldn't know how the ball, because like, especially like when you're in the stadium, and I'm sure the fans can attest to this, bro. You just, like you said, number one, you're just hyped that you got the ball. You don't care how it happened. And number 2, sometimes your vantage point, you're not able, because you don't have the camera angles. Yeah.
So you're seeing it live, which is great. but you don't see how the ball hit this player or he drops a snap. You just see, ball on the ground, turnover, and we're hyped. So when we got back and really watched this game, I'm like, yo, this was bad. Like, literally 3 of those turnovers, 3 were inside the 15-yard line. Yeah. About to score a touchdown. I'm like, bro, that's 21 points. Mm-hmm. I was sitting here like, man.
There's no reason to think they wouldn't have scored a touchdown because they were rolling on us.
Ball. They ran the ball with no problem. They moved the ball up and down the field with no problem.
Yeah, both running backs had good games.
When I looked at it, I was like, man, is this more the Steelers defense balled out, or was this just straight up malpractice by the San Francisco 49ers offense, bro? And I'm leaning more towards the malpractice, man. There's no way you have like just simple center quarterback exchanges. Like you can't have that. Or if you're a breeder, now granted, I would have liked to see Jimmy G throw the ball better on that first pick, but bro, you tipping the ball up and down like that, like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. It was unreal, bro.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too. Are the 49ers gonna be that good now? They're 3-0, or is it just that we're actually this bad now?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Oh no.
Because I know we lost by what was it, 3?
4? Yeah, 20 was what 24-20, I believe it was. Yeah, 24-20. Yep.
Either way, I'm down, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I'm down.
The only reason I was about to say the only reason I'm not all the way sad and depressed is because San Fran was that much fun. That's the only reason why I'm even upbeat today, bro.
Well, here's the problem, though.
All right, let's hear it.
Here's the problem, because we talked about this last podcast. And I guess we were just high off the Seahawks game a little bit, seeing Mason do a little something. We were like, oh, this is gonna be a fun season still, no matter what. But dude, if the offense looks like this,
hey. And I'm glad you said
and
that.
And we're letting up this amount of chunks of yards and just letting teams roll on us. Dude, I don't know.
I do want to talk about that too. So first off, Deontay Johnson, he was a bright spot offensively.
He was.
Got his first start. He ended up having, 1 touchdown. Let's see, 3 catches, 52 yards. He actually looked good. He flashed. Mm-hmm. I will say this from an offensive standpoint, it still was another poor performance. And we can get into it because a lot of times...
Well, yeah, because this is what I want to talk about, yeah.
And a lot of times, like, fans... And we talked about this on the podcast, talked about this on the radio show, and did receive some flack for it. When I was kind of like, man, I think Mason can do good, but I think that he's going to struggle some. I think that just overall the offense is going to struggle some because now, number one, teams are going to game plan for him and for them in particular, and they still haven't found their identity. They haven't been able to run the ball. The offensive line hasn't been playing up until like their standard. And just some of the things that I thought about, right? We looked at Juju's catch. His stats were 3 catches, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. So if you look at that at face value, you're like, oh man, he balled out. You realize 76 of those yards came on the one play. And for Mason Rudolph's passing yards, 14 to 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Minus 70.
But 76 of those yards, and it wasn't like it was a 76-yard pass. It was a 10-yard pass. Juju just stiff arms the one dude. The other guy,
he did what he does.
Yeah, he make 2 guys miss, and he took it to the house. But I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm like, yo, really? All that came from that play? Like, that's crazy. And just looking at some of the play calling and stuff at the time, like I think going into that third quarter, Mason hadn't thrown a pass longer than 10 yards. Like that's crazy to me. But then when you look at, I'm like, were the Niners like doing something different defensively? Were they double teaming guys? What were they doing? Man, it was 7 and 8 man box, and those guys were singled up on the outside the whole game. They just weren't winning. And then the only time where the guys had success, like Deontay Johnson, was when the starting corner opposite Richard Sherman, he got hurt. And when he goes out, the next 2 plays back to back, they attack the guy, which is smart. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I did like about the offense. I'm like, yo, you obviously attack a guy who hasn't played and he's coming in cold. You take him vertical. That's football 1-on-1. But I'm like, outside of that, man, the offense was struggling.
Yeah. And well, that's what I wanted to ask you. So what is the offense doing different now that Mason's in? Because here, from my perspective, the offense looked very much like Ben's hurt 3-4 years ago, and Vic comes in or Jones comes in. Okay. Very just like low key, we're just gonna try to dink and dunk.
Yeah.
And then we're relying on some type of big play.
Run after. Yeah.
Right. So how does the offense change when Ben's in there versus when he's not? And are you seeing that? Is there anything specific that's going on?
What you're asking is when we talked about this week, when everybody was trying to find reasons to believe in Mason, right? And I always caution people, I'm like, you can believe in somebody without, number one, having unrealistic expectations, or number two, trying to put somebody else down to make that person look better, or make yourself feel better about that person. And we witnessed that this week when Ben goes down. They're like, Mason, man, he could be the franchise quarterback. Mason could do these things. We don't need Ben. Ben's old. Ben's hurt. Did we not see that? We saw that. We heard it everywhere we're going. We don't need Ben anymore. Like, Ben could retire. We got Mason. Mason's the guy. Or you get the ones who are like, man, Mason come in, he's going to prove that he has this and this and this. We'll have Ben back next year, but we don't even need him this year, because if you look over these first 2 games, who was the better quarterback? It was Mason. Mason came in the second half and lit it up. And I'm just telling people, I'm like, man, it's different. Like, y'all don't understand, like, certain things that Ben does. Like, it makes a okay offensive play into a great offensive play. You got to think, even last year when Ben would be out there, it wasn't as if it was just elite level timing and routes. It was improvisation. He would sit back. Okay, this is not there. He scrambles around. Okay, AB breaks off this way. Juju breaks that way, and then he hits him. That's what you would see a lot of. Whereas now that Ben's not out there, everything is so much trying to be on schedule. You're trying to just, hey, drop back 3-4 seconds, get it out. Drop back 3-4 seconds, get it out. Not, hey, Ben's going to drop back 3 seconds. Now he's going to shuffle to the right a little bit. He's going to shuffle back to the left. He's going to point over here, point over there, shake a guy off, hit a pass. Like, we're not seeing those things. And I think that's the biggest difference why anytime Ben's not in there, when you think about with Vic, when you think about with Landry, when you think about with Dobbs, and even now with Mason, you're not getting the off time or the off tempo type plays where he improvises. You're not seeing that. And that's the biggest difference. And then from a play calling standpoint, if you're so accustomed to having that, you're so accustomed to having elite level talent, that now when you take away a receiver, you take away a running back, now you take away the starting quarterback, you're trying to essentially create that same type of magic, but minus those same type of players. And that's all the things that factor into it. And that's another reason, like, when people talk about, like, it's the coordinators, it's this and that, I'm like, it falls on both. Some is the cause, but at the same time, some of that is just the players got to make plays. And a prime example would be this, right? People talk about, obviously, Randy Fichtner, they thought he should be more aggressive with some of the calls with Mason. But I look at some of the plays that were called for Mason, where it was either a drop pass or whether the O-line gave up too much pressure. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with the play call itself. That's more so on the players. But then I look at the flip side, when you hit Juju on the 15 or the 10-yard pass and he takes it 76 yards, is that play call or is that just the player? That's the player making a play. True. And that's why I say it goes both ways. And even from a defensive standpoint, same concept. So it's hard for me, like, when people are just like, oh, man, it's this coach or that coach, man, fire them all. I'm like, bro, it don't matter who was out there. If the players aren't executing the call or making plays, it doesn't matter. And if they are making plays, that's not because of that call. Sometimes it's because that player just made a play. And that's the thing that people don't really understand or comprehend the most. And I think that's just that the fan nature, though. It's like, man, it's got to be this or this. It can't be a mix of both. It's either it's black and white, only absolutes. And that's the biggest thing where I'm like, in sports, it's not like that. It's so much detail, or in the words of Coach Thomas, so much minutia. You know what I mean? That goes into that type of stuff, man.
Yeah. I always thought the past, 3-4 years, the main things were Ben and the offensive line. Mm-hmm. If those two were solid, we'd be straight.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we saw it with Le'Veon, us losing him, Connor filling in his production, not necessarily being a better player, but filling in the production. Mm-hmm. And this is what I felt coming into the season, that as long as we had Ben and the O-line, even though we were missing AB, no matter what receivers we throw out there, the offense is going to start to gel no matter what. We weren't necessarily seeing that the first 2 weeks. I think if he was still there, it would have kept going. But my question is, you seem ready to...
I was already about to explain, even with what you just said right there.
Like, how much different is the line and how much respect the defense gives the offense when just Ben's in there, like for it to open up to other players.
I'll say this from a Ben standpoint, it's not even like you respect Ben, but it's different in terms of the attention that's associated with AB, the attention that was associated with L Bell. I'll break it down, right? So we talked about, obviously you saw AB and L Bell together, right? They flourished, and then that made it look like, hey, if Martavis was out there, Martavis was going to kill. Juju was out there, Juju was going to kill. Vance was going to kill. It didn't matter who else you had out there, they were going to kill, right? Because the amount of attention, just the amount of eyes that are associated with L Bell and AB. So L Bell leaves. You bring in James Conner. So remember the whole thing last year was, oh man, he's just as good. His numbers are just as good. Stats do lie though. And here's why. AB was still out there drawing a ton of attention. Juju started balling out, right? So Juju gets a ton of attention. James was facing 6-man boxes. 6-man box, you got to win. And they were winning those. That's an easier box to run in. Then you spreading them out, you add an extra receiver. Now that 6-man box really has like a small dime linebacker or safety playing in the box. These are all great situations to run in. Mm-hmm. So now you fast forward to this season, no AB. Juju doesn't get the same type of eyes and attention that AB was getting. So now instead of them having to play with 6 guys in the box, because you got to account for 2 guys to AB, 2 guys to Juju, they haven't been having to do that. So they're literally playing 7 guys in a box, 8 guys in a box, meaning everybody outside is on one-on-ones. So it doesn't matter how good your O-line is. You're asking them if it's 5 O-linemen, right, 8 defenders in the box. You do the math on that. That's 3 guys unaccounted for. Or even if you bring in a tight end, if you bring in 2 tight ends, that's 7 guys compared to an 8-man box. You still have an unaccounted for defender. And that's what they're seeing this year because of no AB out there, because of no L Bell out there. And these are the guys that draw so much attention. And now that they're not getting that, it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. Even with Ben, it's like if those guys aren't winning one-on-ones, we saw that in the New England game. Ben was still, I mean, shoot, he hit Moncrief how many times and Moncrief just dropped the ball. Yeah. Like, it wasn't as if Ben couldn't get these guys the ball. It's not as if Mace can't get these guys the ball. But if these guys aren't winning one-on-ones, it doesn't matter. And then the caveat to that is if you're not being able to win the one-on-ones, now you can't run the ball because they're stacking the box. You can't run the ball. Everybody's talking about run play action pass. Man, shoot, if I'm a defender and James Conner, his numbers were what? 13 rushes for 43 yards? Yeah. You really think I'm biting on a play action pass? You really think if you fake hand him the ball, I'm going to, oh man, I got to go get him? I don't believe that. No. You're going to have to show me that you can run the ball. Period. And that's how these defenders are playing these guys. Yeah. So play action doesn't scare them. Whereas you look at the contrary, right? San Fran. They play action, misdirection, moving out, rolling out, and you got to respect it. Why? Because Matthew Breida was killing, and then Raheem Mostert was killing. And that's the difference. Like, you have to be able to run the ball to set up that play action. If you can't run the ball, you're not going to get a play action. But you can't run the ball when it's 8-man box and your receivers outside are winning these one-on-ones. And that's why the offense is looking how it's looking right now. And that's why the offense is struggling. And that's why it doesn't matter if Ben were to come back next week. He's still like, it's going to look like that just because their guys aren't winning one-on-ones outside. Yeah. And outside of that, you're never going to be able to run the ball like that from there, man.
Right. No, I get you. I guess my hope was just it would figure itself out after, 3-4 weeks.
Well, that's the funny
with
thing,
Ben,
right?
But like we don't get to see that now with Deontay Johnson now playing. Like, I'm just, I'm more hopeful. Is this like
when you say figure it out? What do you think in terms of it just figuring itself out? Like they magically start winning one-on-ones, exactly. They just magically start running the ball better.
Exactly, chemistry's building in practice a little bit. There's like a wink connection.
That's right. Yeah. Oh man. All right.
Just things just start meshing after 3-4 weeks in chemistry.
Hey man, I know a ton of people that mesh really well, but they don't equate to productivity on the field, man. And that's the thing. It's like, but that's the difference in terms of like when you just are like, hey, I love this team regardless. It's gonna work out. This is why. Versus like me, and it's like I love this team.
Well, I have seen it though. When Ben didn't have maybe the best receivers, we were still like we'd have a slow start, and then later we'd somehow be in the mix for the playoffs.
Okay, I hear you.
Whenever we had like Redmond and Dwyer, and then our
but shoot, even the receivers there,
were pretty solid. Yeah,
right. So as long as your receivers are good, you can run the ball. Think about it, they went through a phase where they had Emmanuel Sanders.
It was Sanders,
Mike Wallace,
Cotchery,
AB. Like, they're all a part of this. They're all a part of that same window. So you really,
the receivers are more important than the RBs.
Absolutely, because the receivers open up the running. Like, as a defender, you hardly are ever scared of running backs, because at the end of the day, you say this: if you have a lot of success running the ball,
Zeke's the only one.
Well, no, I'm gonna explain to you.
Okay.
if you're having success running the ball, all we need to do is bring in another guy to the box. 7, 8 guys. That means we got 2 to 3 free hitters. Now it's on them to make the tackle, obviously, but you have the numbers side of it. From a percentage standpoint, you're more than likely going to stop the run at less than 3 yards per carry. Whereas if you have an elite level receiver, you can double him, and that's what you see with AB. But how many times have we seen AB make plays on double coverage? You can't single these great receivers, because if they could score right now a home run threat, that scares you any day. Man, it was times with Mike Wallace, you're like, this team that we're playing isn't even good. With that Baltimore Ravens team, right? They had Ryan Mallett one year at quarterback. But we're like, they got Mike Wallace. So as much as we want to load this box to stop the run, they got Mike Wallace. And we saw what happened. We loaded the box one time, 8 guys in there, and that's when he caught it. Was it a 95-yard slant that he took to the house? That's the stuff you have to worry about. Whereas from a running standpoint, you're like, okay, with Zeke, you can space him out a little bit, and then also with the receivers too, with Zeke and them, they still had Dez at the time, so he was kind of a threat. And now with Amari Cooper, it's like, oh no, we can't just pack that box, because Amari can score on you. So that's the difference in that. So even when you looked at those receivers back then, you're like, Emmanuel Sanders, he could take it off. He can go to the crib right now. Mike Wallace could go to the crib right now. AB could go to the crib right now. Martavis could go to the crib right now. All of those things factor in. So you're like, from a running game, you're like, man, hey, we can't load this box up. No, hey, get back, stay deep. And that's the difference in how you attack these teams. Whereas right now, Juju is your biggest receiving threat, but Juju hasn't been able to ultimately win those deep passes one-on-ones. He hasn't been able to. And this is the thing with Juju too. Like, when you just think about him as a player, like, he thrives in the combat catch. He thrives in run after catch. But would you say, in terms of him versus an AB or versus Martavis, like, he doesn't have the top flight speed to just run by you in your route? Like, he can make you miss, and then once he get in open field, he's going to do what he does. Yeah. But in terms of just like off the line, he's not going to just make you miss and be open 30 yards downfield. That's not his game. Right. And I think that's why this team is struggling. We need more someone to complement that. Right. Now, Deontay, in his matchup, he looks good. Now, granted, like I said, it was the backup corner. So how much is that the backup corner? How much is that Deontay? At the end of the day, I always give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, hey, you won while you're out there. That's all that matters. Yeah. Like, win your matchup. You did what you had to do. Right. Win your matchup, period. So I'm hoping that carries over, because if it does, now that gives you a legit threat. Somebody that says, okay, look, we can't put this many guys in the box for the run game. We have to respect these guys. We have to stay with both safeties on both sides. Mm-hmm. And until we start seeing that running game is never going to get started, because at the end of the day, you're trying to run, like I said, 5-on-7, 5-on-8. It's a numbers game. And as a defense, you want the numbers, period. Like, any assignments you have, you want the numbers, because you don't account for the quarterback. So you already feel like you got +1 out there. And that's kind of how defenses have been attacking the Steelers right now, man. Damn. Yeah, bro. I feel like I'm in school here. You just stop that, man. Like, literally, that's how it is, though, bro. It's very interesting. So, anything on the defensive side of the ball that was glaring to you? We obviously talked about Minkah being a bright spot, but you got to stop the run, bro.
Yeah, they thrashed.
They got to stop the run. Like, they couldn't. They couldn't stop the run. Now, I will say some of that, especially in the second half, was due to the amount of time that they were out there, because they were on the field a ton. And like you said, it was hot out there. We felt the heat. Like, it was hot. And I think
here's what I'll say, though. The people that are thinking hot, it's not like Pittsburgh hot. I didn't mind it. You still didn't like it that much.
Well, for me, I didn't like necessarily the sun just beaming on me. I wasn't like temperature hot in the sense of, like, we've been to some, when we went to the opener, like, temperature, that was like, humidity. It was hot, it's humid, Out there, it was just like the sun was just beaming, but it wasn't like, oh man, it feels like 100 degrees. It was just, the sun is beaming right now.
I liked it though. See, I kind of have that Cali vibe.
Yeah, you're like an outside guy. Like me, I'm an indoor dude, man. I want to chill inside. If we played in a dome, it'd be perfect. Like, yeah, that's just how I vibe out. But for them, I'm like, man, they were out there a ton though. And that's been the second week in a row of them having to be out there a lot. Actually, the third week, because the offense hasn't been able to sustain anything. And those are the reasons why you see them start out look extremely well in the first half, and then they start to dwindle off in the second half, just playing too many snaps. But we do got to shout out to it though.
Yeah,
shout out to not only shout out to him for coming on the podcast last week, man, dropping straight gems. I know everybody enjoyed it, ton of positive feedback, but he was crazy productive, not only in the pass game, you actually see him with the sacks, but in the run game, man. I looked at the drive. Actually, I think it was, they might have scored on his drive, but literally he made like 2 or 3 plays in the backfield, like back to back on run plays, just tossing the guard that was on him. Like, he's been playing really well. He's a dude that stepped up a ton. Obviously has some criticism about him this offseason, because people were saying that he's getting paid, but he hasn't been producing on that type of level. But he's definitely been stringing together some positive performances, some impact performances. And as long as he stays healthy, man, I want to see where this can really go for him, because he has the talent, bro. Absolutely has the talent, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know if it's just my eyes deceiving me or what, but I feel like our corners are playing good though. Like Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson.
They're playing really well.
Like, I'm not seeing any big plays given up by them. The only chunks of yards are maybe like these receivers finding holes in the zone.
Yes.
Like, I think those two dudes are playing really good though.
Absolutely. They have been like you said, from a secondary standpoint, Joe and Steven have been the bright spots. I think it was with Pro Football Focus, for Steven Nelson, he was actually like the highest graded corner for like the past like couple games too. Like, he's been balling out, yeah. And it was funny because people criticized him in terms of how good he could be coming over from Kansas City, because they're like, yeah, he had 4 interceptions, but he was the most like highly targeted player, corner in the league. And I'm like, bro, he still had 4 picks. Like, that's productivity, and he's been looking really good. Now, I feel like you said, from a passing standpoint, the corners have looked good. We do need to see more from the linebackers and safeties, in particular. Like Mark Barron, he's been struggling. Yeah. Like, Mark struggled a lot these past couple of games. I mean, he had the big penalty, which actually saved them on that drive, man. It was like 3rd and 17 to end it. And he gets the holding call in the end zone, kills it. They get the first down automatically. Then obviously they go ahead and score. But he's been struggling. I'm surprised by it, because I figured,
I was too, because I thought he was going to be such a big addition to the defense there.
Absolutely, man. He's definitely been struggling, man. So that's one of those.
It's like those little slot receivers and the running backs and even the tight ends. It's just for whatever reason, he's having a tough time covering them.
Like, that's one of those things that we definitely need to see him improve on. But right now, with Vince being hurt with a hammy, Devin's still young. I mean, where are your options? And you really don't have any right now. So you're hoping that, when we talk about how you said that, just something to happen, it just magically get better. I'm hoping that it just magically gets better. But I mean, a lot of it is eye stuff too, man. I'm noticing with him, like, it was eyes sometimes when he's checking these running backs, tight ends. They'll run a route and he kind of like he's about to relax as if it's over. And then at the last second, they're do whatever they do, burst out. And that's the difference between an incompletion versus a 10-yard gain. Like, those are the things I'm noticing with him. And with Devin, Devin's just young. Devin's making like young guy mistakes, man. Just reads, still thinking about it, which is normal, because like I said, for young guys, you're worried about what your job is. And then from there, it's like, okay, am I lined up right? This the call. Am I supposed to be carrying this guy?
Who's the one calling the plays? Who was it last week?
It was TJ the one week. Then they had, I think it was TJ the first 2 games. So it might have been him again. But it's just so much that he already has to worry about, just from an individual standpoint, that, it deals with you. It makes you play a little bit slower, not as good as you could be. I mean, we saw it with Ryan Shazier before. People forget that part of Ryan. They just remember the Pro Bowl All-Pro Ryan. But first 2 year Ryan, year 1, year 2, struggled. And that's part of the reason, man, because as a young player, you think a lot. And for him, he's in these highlighted matchups versus All-Pro tight ends or top-notch running backs. And it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it isn't.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? I looked at the schedule. We got Cincy coming up.
Yeah, the battle of the offers. Yeah, man.
Toilet bowl.
Oh man. Prime time though, Monday Night Football.
Prime
Shout out.
time. So
Yeah.
Cincy, Ravens, crap, Colts. I think I'm doing this completely out of order.
Obviously, I don't even know.
There's
yet,
one
man.
between the Ravens and the Colts. Hold on, let me see.
I look week to week, man. I treat it like I'm still playing.
Let me see if I can pull this up. So, yeah, what are you? Is there any signs of hope here?
I mean,
going forward.
First off, you think about just the margin of error, right? From the NFL standpoint, it's very small. It comes down to the details. And we're sitting here at 0-3, but could they realistically be 2-1 right now?
They could be.
Realistically.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's kind of when it comes to football, what you got to realize is you just have to operate with more detail now because you don't have the same level of talent out there. So now your margin of error is a lot smaller. So for this Steelers team, they have to look at the turnovers they had, right? The 2 turnovers from the offense, self-inflicted. Mason is scrambling out the pocket. He's getting pressured. He could throw the ball away or take the sack, live to play the next down. But what does he do? He forces the ball, throws it back across his body, late, inside, interception. Can't have that. James Conner, ice in the game, he fumbles the ball. Can't have that. Outside of those 2 plays, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Then you take it the week before versus the Seahawks.
Yeah, we touched on the 3 or 4 things: the pass interference,
so
the field goal.
These are all little things that could realistically have this team sitting at 2-1, and it's a whole nother conversation. It's a totally different vibe. So that's why it's like all hope isn't lost. The season isn't lost, but just understand that when you lose talent, your execution has to go up that much more because you can't overcome the same mistakes that you're accustomed to. When you have Ben out there, when you have AB out there, when you had L Bell out there, when you had all this talent, man, you could turn the ball over. You might get a penalty and you can overcome it because you're just that good. Whereas now, these players, they aren't the same caliber. Now, they're still good players without a doubt, but it's a different caliber. So they have to realize that, we have to operate with a whole nother level of focus, a whole nother level of execution because we don't have that same luxury anymore. Like, imagine if the roles were reversed and this Steelers team had 5 turnovers and San Fran only turned the ball over 2 times.
40-0.
Absolutely. And that just lets you know from a talent standpoint and a margin of error standpoint, like that's like 5 turnovers in a game is crazy at this level. Unheard of. It does not happen. But the talent wise isn't there yet. It could be.
So that
it could develop into it.
And that's kind of my thing. Like, even if we were 2-1 right now,
mm-hmm.
like in the back of my mind thinking like, I don't think this team would have it like for the long stretch.
Right. But you know what would happen from a fan standpoint? You would say, hey man, it don't matter how you win as long as you win. and when you win it, you mask over a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, we sitting at 2-1. I don't care what you talking about. I don't care about the receivers' numbers. They ain't about stats. It's all about winning. That's the next argument. Man, we don't care about having, not having a 100-yard rusher yet. We won. That's all that matters. We win with other ways. And that's the way that people kind of mask over that, where it's like, no, it's still some fundamental flaws. It's still some teams out there that's sitting at 2-1 right now that have issues, that have fundamental flaws. And you're like, that's going to get them beat down the line. That's going to get them beat down the line. But
like, I would rather be sitting, I'd even take a loss next week. I'd rather be sitting 0-4 with Ben than like 2-1 and 3-1. How the team is like right now. From what I saw, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you would rather see them playing good ball and win, or you would rather see them play good ball and lose than winning on some just fluky little things,
or even just that hope of like,
false sense.
Even if we get in the playoffs with Ben, I just feel like anything.
You got a
can
chance,
happen.
right?
But like, even if somehow we sneak in at like a 9-7 wild card or win the division with.
Well, I was about to say, with the way the division's looking right now, I mean, Baltimore, obviously they're tough, but
I was gonna say, here's the schedule. So it's Bengals, Ravens, at Chargers, home Dolphins, home Colts.
Well, the Dolphins is a guaranteed win, so chalk
Dolphins,
that up.
Bengals, it's 2, and then can we go 2-1?
Colts look really good. Colts look really good yesterday.
Can we go 2-1 between Ravens, Chargers, and Colts?
Chargers in LA. Hey, you play the games though, right?
That'd be 4-1. We'd be 4-4. Could that happen?
It's crazy. We're saying that they'll be 4-4. They'd have to go 4-1 through that span, and we're talking about that like that's if everything goes right.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But see, I haven't fully converted to the fandom yet, so I didn't even operate like that in terms of looking ahead and planning who you would win to, who you would lose to. Because as an athlete, you feel like you're gonna beat everybody. Like in my mind, and I'm sure if you talk to the team right now, they're saying, "Look, we're about to run the tables." Why wouldn't you? I mean, if you've been on this team long enough, I've been a part of teams, especially in Pittsburgh, where we run off 10 in a row, 11 in a row. So that's always the mindset. Yeah.
Do you see how different my tone is from before the season? I'm telling you, my thinking was sound for the 15-1.
So now we're looking at 13-3. It's cool, bro. I ain't tripping. 13-3.
Yeah, exactly.
13-3. I believe in you, bro.
Well, I wanted to bring this up too. So remember our bet, Chiefs Ravens. Mm-hmm. You thought you won.
No. You included the spread. We said we weren't going to do the spread. No. We said we were going straight up. Yes, we did. No. Because that's what we talked about. Because this is how I remember. Look, I want to play the podcast back because for a fact, we talked about it. And then that's when we said, okay, well, should we change teams? And you was like, nah. And I'm like, well, nah, I ain't doing that then. I said, if we're going to go like that then and go straight up, I'm going with the Chiefs. And he was like, okay.
No.
Bro, yes, you did.
I thought it was 6 points.
No, spread. And I looked at it, I'm like, bro. I was like, yo, go put this 6 point up there. I'm like, bro, you know for a fact when we talked about it.
The picture.
Yeah. That's what I look, I'm like, bro, you ain't put that. We ain't say that.
I'm telling you.
And I remember saying straight up because you said, okay, if we're gonna do that, then that's 10. I'm like, I'm taking the Chiefs then. I'm not going with the Ravens. Yeah. and then what else did I say? I said, I don't like.
If we did it straight up, I was saying I'd go Chiefs.
No, you did not, bro.
I swear.
No, bro.
Wait.
I don't remember that.
Wait, why would I say Ravens if I was hesitant on doing it?
Because I ain't
points?
like either team. Remember, I said I don't like the Chiefs defense, and I said I don't believe in Baltimore, and I said I would never bet on Baltimore because it's the Ravens. And you were like, all right, well, I'll take the Ravens then. Is that not what you said?
It is, but I was getting the points. I thought we were.
Oh man, I swear I remember that.
We do have to run back the tapes, but I was gonna say this though. Anyway, should we? Because even if I did win with the points, I wouldn't feel good about it because I feel like the team's just got to win. I feel like we should take games with like a.
How have we been betting them before?
It's been with the spread, but the team that won also won the spread.
Yeah,
this would be the first situation.
Got you. Yeah, I was saying like, bro, I definitely saw you put 6 up there. I'm like, man, I remember us having this conversation, and that's why I'm like, oh, he think he's slick.
No, bro,
that's why I thought. I'm like, oh, he think he's slick. Well, I'm gonna call him out.
You know how I am. I wouldn't do that. Like I honestly thought it was a 6 point spread, and I think if we watch the tapes, I think I'd be right.
I think if we watch the tape, we're gonna hear me say, yo, I don't like either of these teams, but if we're going straight up, I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm actually interested to listen back, but I was gonna say this too. I was supposed to pay the first bet out in San Fran.
Yeah.
I had a video for it and everything, but then your mother-in-law's good friend paid for
Ellie,
the meal.
man, shout out to the West Coast, man.
So
we're not even gonna get on that service at night. Oh, whoa.
But anyway, I could still pay that bet then later. Because like technically I didn't remember. I gave the $50. I'm like, hey, just take it. And then she
gave it to you back. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I could just pay this bet later.
I guess that would be like winning a bet, but then by the spread, I guess.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I said no. I said you paying for the food and then her giving you the 50 back would be like winning a bet due to the spread. The team lost, but the spread was covered, so you win.
Right. I feel like I still gotta pay up.
Got you
at some point here.
That's interesting.
Because like this, we're racking up debt here on these.
We are. It's gonna be interesting.
We tried this weekend to take care of one of them.
Yeah, she was just too nice.
I know.
She would not let it. Yeah, she would not let it happen.
No.
Yeah, that was funny, bro.
But yeah, dude, I think we got everything covered. Big podcast coming up end of the week.
Absolutely, man. Definitely gonna be a blast with that, man. Stay tuned. Special treat. Y'all gonna enjoy it. That's all y'all need to know. That's all you need to know. You're gonna enjoy it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, man, we'll be, talking about some good things that are about to happen for this Steelers team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we're going to look at it. Absolutely. And then we'll be getting prepared for that big Monday night matchup, man. So.
Yes, sir. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in.
No
Shout
doubt,
out to San Fran.
Cali, West Side.
And until next time.
Yeah, man. Peace.